Today is January 2nd. Today's quote is entitled, "Addiction to distraction will be your death. Focus most on the things that will make the most difference. At least focus your first hour or two of your work on the most important things." By the way, the average person spends 2 hours a day in distraction. You know this is the age of distraction. How do you know that? Because you have a smartphone, which is always distracting you. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said all offenses to chanting the holy name stem from distraction because we are not focused on the most important thing, which is reconnecting with Krishna while we chant the holy name. Now some devotees say, no, but I get up early and I chant. No distraction. And I ask, well, what are you thinking about when you're chanting? Are you thinking about your work? Are you thinking about your to-do list? Are you creating new projects in your mind or working out the details of existing projects? And many devotees say yes. So although externally you have this wonderful environment, the fact is you're distracted by all the things that are going on in your life. So I always say Maya's going to get your japa because it's so easy to distract us. She'll just dangle things in front of you. So distraction is a major factor in bad japa, and it's a major factor in an unproductive life. And it's a major factor in not being as successful as we can in our sadhana and also in our service. So today we're suggesting that if you want to maximize the effectiveness of what you're doing, work on things that are important. Work on things that are going to make the biggest difference towards the goals you're trying to achieve. And work on them first, because if you don't work on them first, it's possible you won't get around to it. So for example, we know from experience the most important thing we should do is chant our rounds first. And if we don't do that, what happens? Sometimes we say, well, I'll do it later, and later never comes. Or later does come, but when later comes, we're tired, we're distracted. So every devotee who's gone through the gamut of good and bad japa knows the best time to chant japa is early in the morning. Give it priority. Make it the first thing, because it's the most important thing. Give the beginning of your day to the things which will make the biggest difference in your life. And of course, japa is going to make the biggest difference. Chanting the holy name is the religion of this age. That's going to make the biggest difference in our spiritual lives. So we dedicate that, for the first hours of the day, to that. We dedicate the first hours of the day to studying Prabhupada's books. It's the best time to study. Do you know how much more focus you have early in the morning? How much more you retain? This is statistical research. We retain, we remember, we focus, we absorb so much more early in the morning. Now, as far as your service, one of the things that happens, especially when you're doing a challenging service or you're doing something you've never done before, is procrastination, because it's uncomfortable or it's difficult. So the idea is, look at what you have to do today and look at what are the most important things and put that on the top and just do those in the first few hours of your day. Make sure they get done, even if you don't want to do them. Just don't do what you want to do until you do what is important, even if you don't want to do it. And if you do that, you'll see, you'll start moving towards your goals. But when we don't do that, sometimes we don't get around to doing the things that will make the biggest difference because we don't like doing them. They're uncomfortable, we're uneasy doing them, and so forth. So it's very, very common. So it's very powerful to think, okay, clearly, what is going to have the most powerful effect? What is going to be the most beneficial for me to do today first in getting closer to accomplishing the things that are most important? And you just do that, and gradually you will see that you are coming closer to your goals. There's an 80-20 principle, which means 20% of what you do will help you achieve 80% of your results. So what that means is there's about 80% of what we do, which is like fluff and detail. It's not that important. You know, what color's my business card? That's not that important, generally. or the size of the type and this and that. There are other things more important, like calling this client about this or that, or booking this engagement, or setting this up, or contacting a legal office to do that. There's certain things that are more important. So that's the 20%. So you look at what is the 20% in your service that's going to produce the 80% of the result, and that's what you focus on. It's amazing, but it's the principle. I ran a business for years, and I knew the exact 20%. The other 80%, it didn't really matter that much. It was just nice if I did it, but there's 20% that was just absolutely essential. And so look at the 20% of what you need to do in your spiritual life and in your service. That's most important. And then focus on that, and don't be distracted by the 80% until you're focused and getting done the 20%. And it's powerful. It works. Try it. You'll believe me. You'll have an experience. You'll be born again. You'll be a believer. And it's January 2nd, so you've got New Year's, new way to do things, new way to think. Hare Krishna.